Welcome to In Focus. I'm your host, Yesenia Taveras. So what do you get when you combine science, engineering, photography, and culinary arts? 4 youth productions. And joining us now is the founder and director of the nonprofit organization, Theresa Emmett, and 2 of her students, Akora Hickson and Leo Dupre. Welcome to the show.
Hello.
It's so great to have you. I know you have so many more students who are actually watching too live, but let's get right into this organization. I believe it's a very unique one, and I know it kind of took place a long time ago. People might not know how long this organization has been in existence. So can you take us a little bit back to how this all came about?
Yes, so we actually just entered our 5th year as 4 Youth Productions, but I had been teaching after-school programming for about 10 years now. It started when I was teaching photography and culinary art at Thomas Edison Charter School, and I really just fell in love with a group of kids and wanted to try to find ways that they could, one, find new career paths, and also be more aspired to attend college. And at the time I had a good friend of mine, Yesenia Dupree, and she was teaching science, and my husband was like, "You two love teaching so much. Why don't you just form a nonprofit?" So my husband was actually the driving force behind saying, you got to do this. Like, take your idea, turn it into a nonprofit. And so that's exactly what we did.
That's wonderful. And how did this organization evolve? So we started, we got the interest from the students, and I believe Leo's been one of the longest students in your program.
Yes.
When did you start, Leo?
I actually started in 3rd grade. Some people don't know me, so I'm actually going to be a senior in high school next year, this upcoming year. So long time.
Yes.
Yeah.
What were your area of concentration, and what were you able to benefit or gain from this program?
Well, through this program, initially when it started, it was just photography, culinary arts, but then they ended up introducing engineering, and for the longest time, I really wanted to be an engineer. So that was the driving force behind that. But then when I started taking more engineering classes, I realized I really don't want to be an engineer. I want to go into a different artistic field. So with 4U Productions, we did have some Photoshop classes where we learned how to do this and do that, and I really enjoyed doing that. So with Miss Dahan, I was able to figure out I really wanted to do graphic design, so that's what I'm going to try to pursue, and yeah. That's
wonderful. And Akora, what were some of the things that interest you about the program?
It was more about the science part when because I started free when I was a 5th grader, and I didn't have my career plan. I wanted to actually be an actress when I was little, but that was going to be a hard catch. So going to 4U, we did a lot of science classes, and that exposed me to different sciences, and that led me to forensic science.
And do the both of you live in Wilmington?
Yes.
Newark.
In Newark, okay. So you do work with a lot of inner city youth that, like you said, would not be exposed to these different types of programs.
Yes.
So where did that bond or initiative come from? Did you just started working with them at Thomas Edison and saw that they needed this?
It was definitely finding a need. Majority, because there's such a tight curriculum during the school year, there's not a lot of room in there to squeeze in a lot of science and engineering. Along with photography is a program that I have never seen offered to kids as young as kindergarten, which is the youngest age we now offer photography to. So we basically felt like we were filling a new need that wasn't being fulfilled during the school day due to the fact that, as you know, every teacher, it's so hard to fit everything in.
Right.
That we wanted to add something additional. And it's also how I grew up. My dad's a chemist who loves photography and cooking, and my mom is a nurse. So my whole life I grew up taking pictures with my dad, conducting science experiments in the kitchen, and I had a true passion from there, and that's where the idea came to really combine everything and share my experiences growing up with the kids that I teach.
Okay, and what is your target audience? Is it 3rd grade to 8th grade or 3rd grade to high school?
Kindergarten through 12th grade.
Oh, you start as young as
We
kindergarten.
start as young as kindergarten. This is actually the first summer we taught photography and engineering to kindergarten, and it was a blast.
Wonderful.
We had so much fun, and they were super cute carrying the big cameras.
That's good to know. I have a 4-year-old. He'll love it. He's very photogenic, and he's just very outspoken for his young age. That's good to know. So let's get right into the artwork. Some of the artwork that I've seen is just it's so eye-catchy. I sit back and I'm like, this is students, our youth here that are creating these images. And it's like some of the work looks like college work. Can you talk a little bit about the equipment that they use?
Okay.
How do they get access? Because you're giving them access to equipment that most adults don't even get accessible to unless they have the money to purchase a DSLR.
Yes. Well, we started with actually bringing in our own equipment. My background is in photography. My husband, Raphael, he's a high-end retoucher and photographer. So we would bring in all of our equipment for the kids to use. They used to share one camera with like a class of 12 kids.
Right.
But Thomas Edison Charter School is actually extremely supportive of our program.
Okay.
So they actually purchased more cameras that we could start using with our kids. And then as soon as we received our first grant funding from the Longwood Foundation, that afforded us the capability to purchase Canon DSLRs that we now use.
And for those who may not know, the artwork that you're seeing now is actually as a mural, and it's displayed in West Center City. Can you tell us a little bit about this project?
Yeah, so that was in partnership with the Creative District. The Creative District has been one of our biggest and most supportive partners, I would say, in the past couple years. We absolutely love working with them, and they contacted us with the idea of working on family portraits. So we wanted to uplift West Center City and show, the positive and the love and the community. So we photographed families, which actually this one was photographed by Leo. And after it was photographed, it was then digitally hand painted by Raphael Dahan. And he actually hand painted each person in there, and he designed the mural.
That is awesome. Leo,
Yes.
how is that to see something that you actually took in the city? Like, it's kind of like the equivalency to a billboard. Like, this is your work, your baby right here, and it's up for everyone to see. How does that feel?
Well, I mean, I feel like it is such a great feeling. Like, when I was taking the pictures, obviously, it was like December or January, and it was freezing. I was not having it. But,
hands-on experience.
Right, to see it pay off in this, like, the way it just all came together, I really am glad that I did it and stuck it out. But yeah, it's such a great feeling.
And Akora, how does that feel to be a part of something like this?
It actually feels amazing. Like, you're seeing the good, and because Wilmington is not really considered as a good city, but for youth, we can paint the pictures of a good city.
Right, you're kind of beautifying it at the same time,
Yes.
giving something beautiful to look at. And are some of the artworks, like if I seen this and I'm like, oh, I want to purchase this, is some of the artworks purchasable, and if so, where do we go?
Yes, actually that's one thing our students have been in charge of. So part of our program is entrepreneurship.
Okay.
So students learn to be entrepreneurs as they sell their own artwork, and 100% of the profits then go into a college fund for our kids. So Leo, do you want to talk about purchasing of art?
So the art that you see on the screen right now, that's not all we have. We have so much more. Of course, we've been doing it since we were really young, so there's so much more, something for everybody. And if you all want to look at the different things that you guys want, you can go to our Etsy page. It's etsy.com/4youthproductions, and see everything we have to offer.
And where do the
Yes.
proceeds go?
To our college scholarship initiative.
So how does that work?
So all the 100% of profits from sales go into one major fund. We then have a committee that we have formed so that when our kids enter into college, they, through an application process, apply for the funding. Leo will actually be our first one.
Congratulations, Leo.
Yes.
Congratulations. There's so many skill sets that you're learning, not only entrepreneur, sales is huge. How to sell your own thing, and rather if it's a product, if it's a design, if it's something that you're really passionate about, you're learning that skill set. And then the academic part as well. But one thing that really intrigued me was finding out that some of the students' artwork was displayed in former Vice President Joe Biden's residence, and also currently still displayed in Senator Chris Coons' Wilmington office.
Yes.
So tell us a little bit about that. How did this happen?
Well, as the kids know, I'm quite pushy when it comes to their art and, doing our very best to move 4 Youth Productions forward. So former Vice President Biden actually attends my church. And I would see him after church, a little bit shy, wondering, should I go talk to him? And then one day he was there. I was like, I'm just going to go up. So I went up to Vice President Biden and I said, is there any way you could get our kids' artwork in the White House? And he said, I can't do the White House, but we can put it up in my residence.
Oh, that's awesome.
So he forwarded my information to his social secretary, who then contacted me. and they displayed their artwork as part of their holiday display, and even invited us down for a holiday party, which was amazing.
Fun.
How was that? I never experienced that. How was that?
It was cool.
Yeah.
It was amazing. He actually shook my hand. I was so shocked.
Oh,
That I didn't
that's
recognize him.
great. You guys were able to talk to him, have
Yes.
a conversation. That's great. That's a great opportunity, and once in a lifetime.
Yes, I think we get a lot of those together, though. We get a lot of once-in-a-lifetime opportunities.
And that's part of the experience.
Yes. So a lot of what we do is also event photography. So we do event photography for local businesses and nonprofits. And our favorite, most recent thing was local photographer Gel Del Tufo actually was able to have us go to Firefly for photography.
Oh, nice.
To photograph the Firefly experience, and that was amazing.
You did that too, Leo?
Yes.
That was
So
amazing.
much fun. Free passes, of course I was there.
That's great. Well,
Yes.
and the working world is kind of the equivalency to freelancing. And at
Yes.
this young age, they're already experiencing what that looks like.
Yes, and they're getting hands-on experience in the workforce as actual event photographers, which is incredible.
That's incredible. That's a
Yes.
valuable experience you're going to be able to take away from this. And not only the event photography, but also the opportunity to have their artwork displayed in different types of organizations, employments,
Yes.
businesses,
Yes.
and they're in rotation.
Yes.
I mean, this is great.
So we lease out student artwork. Delaware Orthopedic Specialists, they actually had leased our students' artwork for a year in all 3 of their offices. And what we do is for companies, we go in and every 3 to 4 months we refresh the artwork. And I think for a company it's great because, one, you are supporting a great cause. You're supporting our nonprofit. You receive beautiful artwork up on your wall. And just so it's even fresh for a clientele, we have an actual designer come in and decide what's going to work best within your space.
That's awesome, Theresa.
Yes.
And it's not all about artwork. Like we said, it's science, engineering, photography, and culinary arts.
Yes.
But recently, you held, which attracted over 300 students and kids, a Gravity Festival. It's second annual. Let's talk a little bit about that initiative.
Okay. So we did that in partnership with Artist Avenue Station and the Delaware Art Museum. It was held at Bellevue Community Center, and that started mainly because I met with Jason Neville. During our first meeting, we were talking about how kids in the city and families normally don't attend like some big events that happen here or don't even hear about
like the
it.
Ladybug Festival.
Yes, just like that. So we wanted to create something just for kids, but that was going to be educational and give children the opportunity to actually feel like a scientist or an artist or an engineer for the day.
Okay.
So that was where the beginnings of the Gravity Arts and Science Festival started, and we kind of wanted our mini version of the Philadelphia Carnival.
It looks like you kind of got there.
Yes, because a lot of kids from Wilmington will never make it up to Philadelphia Carnival.
Right.
So we had 20 amazing local partners come to do hands-on activities with our students.
What were some of them?
So the Delaware Art Museum had a painting station.
Okay.
We had University of Delaware's engineering department come out, and they turned carrots into a musical piano. So
Wow,
that
I wish I was there to
that
see
was
that.
really cool. Delaware Orthopedic Specialists has a life-size operation game.
Okay.
So that was great. For youth, we had a slime bar, which kids are like slime crazy right now.
That's right.
We had a gold mining station where kids could mine for like gold and rocks and minerals.
Okay.
Yeah, so
That's a
we
great
had
opportunity.
lot, yes.
Like you said, you're bringing this type of exposure to the kids here in the city who most likely wouldn't have this type of exposure.
Yes.
And that's big.
Yeah.
Because not only are you sparking their interest, you're showing them other opportunities as opposed to just signing up for your local basketball team or baseball, football team. Like this is things that really work on your mind.
Yes.
And sometimes a lot of players get hurt and they don't have a plan B. Where here you're showing them you can go in with something of this nature, have this as your forefront, and then if you want to do sports, you still can. But this gives you the opportunity to really gain some valuable experience.
Yes.
Now let's talk about the exhibits because I know Akora had an opportunity to actually be in one. What is this like? Paint a picture for us when you get involved in one.
It's like a feeling you can't describe because it's like one in a lifetime. Not everyone get to do the exhibit. So I remember the first one we did with Delaware Art Museum and had my portrait there. At first, I wasn't confident going in, but actually seeing the pictures now, I see that I did a good job and actually came out pretty nice.
And what was your focus? Did you have some artwork that you showed? Were you able to present something?
Yes. So I have my artwork.
This is your.
Oh, this was. Do you want to tell about this one?
Okay. So that was the Aspiring Women in STEM conference. I had the opportunity to talk about For Youth from my side of the story, and how it inspired me to work in the science field and exposed me to photography.
That's wonderful. And what are some of the things that you would want to share with us in regards to what you want to do now moving forward after you graduate from high school?
Well, I want to work in the sciences, and Ms. Sahan has been helping me get exposed to the forensic science field, so actually send me kits so one day I can teach the younger kids how to do forensic science.
You see that, Theresa? Not only is she learning through your program, she wants to give back herself, community involvement.
Yes, they both do. They're both working with me this summer.
See, that's wonderful. And I know we have a bunch of kids watching too on the other side. They were here earlier. And what would you want to say in regards to them and other students who aspire or want to be involved in your program?
I would say just sign up. Go to our website, contact us. We are going to open up weekend programming now that we officially have our own space.
Yes,
we can do
I was
it,
just going to say
which
that.
is amazing.
Could you
and I think my favorite part about For Youth Productions is that we are a true family.
Yes,
So-
I see that not only with the students but also the parents.
Yes. We definitely are a family. We love each other, so please just join our family.
And before we go, I do want to make mention here that you are on Superfine Lane now. You
Yes.
finally have your own home, a place to
Yes.
call home. And Superfine Lane is not too far from here. Actually, it's right up the
No.
street. Can you talk a little bit about that location and what it's done for your organization now?
Yes. So actually 2 years before we opened our studio, the gentleman who owned Colorworks showed me their space, and I knew right away that's where I wanted our home to be. And Colorworks has been one of the most supportive businesses ever. They sponsor all of our art exhibits, and they said, Theresa, we know you want the space. So they held it for us, because I said, guys, I'm going to write a grant. I know we're going to get it. So they waited for us. They held the space. And so now we have opened up we received funding from the Longwood Foundation and the Welfare Foundation.
Okay.
So we opened up a full-blown photography studio with a kitchenette. And then on the other side, we have both offices and a science and engineering classroom. Also to up-and-coming photographers or local photographers, if they're looking for a place to shoot, we work with Colorworks with the actual studio to rent out as well.
Okay.
So we want to provide an opportunity to not only our students, but even high schoolers or college students or young adults looking for a place to grab their beginning. Because I know when I was a young photographer, I had nowhere that I could shoot for, for actual settings in the studio.
And it's a beautiful space.
Thank
When I was
you.
there at your grand opening, I said, oh my goodness, all this for kids? I didn't have this growing up.
Yes.
That's a wonderful opportunity.
Thank you.
Well, thank you so much. I really enjoyed having all of you here and everything that you've decided to do for the community. I mean, and you're really focused on these kids. And that you don't find a lot of. I mean, there's a lot of local nonprofit organizations, but the fact that you're exposing them to something different, like science, engineering, and the culinary arts and photography really gives these students something to look forward to.
Thank
So
you.
Thank you.
We have fun.
Anything you want to say before we leave to any of those who might be looking and might be your age or a little bit younger?
I mean, I am trying to help schedule classes for you guys, so if there's anything that you guys want to say, just, email at Theresa or Theresa@foryouthproductions.org. We'll try to get those classes out. Trust me, guys, I'm trying. It's such a fun experience. So when we do have classes, join, and they're amazing.
You will have a blast before you.
Oh, wonderful. Well, thank you so much for your time, Theresa,
Thank you.
Okora, and Leo.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you.
Wonderful experience, and I'm really happy about the whole program in itself. And thanks again for coming out.
Thank you.
Thank you. And best of luck, too, to whatever comes up in the future. I know you'll do great.
They will.
Thank you. More In Focus when we return. Don't go away.